Hi everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Touken Ranbu. It's me, Frostelfia, your lovely Saniwa for this Let's Play series. Alright, so we are once again kicking off with picking a omikuji. So let's go with this one. Okay, not bad. Thank you, Hachiska. Alright, so we received another special Ofuda and a trade stamp. Okay. Oh, this is still going on? Okay. I'm still so mad about that. I've been reading like your comments, guys, and yes, I also hope that I'll be able to get him the old-fashioned way of just forging him, so yes. Oh, thank you, Soza. Okay, let's receive these. And first things first, let's go check out the forge so we can see who we got. Sorry, I had to fix the audio real quick because I wasn't sure if anybody could hear me over the music. If y'all still can't hear me by the time I finish this episode, that's okay. Alright, we got another Kotetsu, and who is this? Another Soza! Okay, well, they're not doing the limited time forges anymore, but let's try this recipe with a standard. Ooh, a 3-hour. And let's try with a special. Okay, 3 hours and 20 minutes. How many? I only don't have enough help tokens. I need to save those for emergencies only because you may never know what happens with your swords. So, since this is still going on, let's go in and, do this. But real quick, I'm gonna fix the audio again because it's kind of loud in my ear. So, give me a minute. Okay, hopefully I fixed it. And let's get right to it. Let's do our usual team. All right. Hopefully the Wi-Fi doesn't go out on me. I had a bit of an incident a couple of days ago when I was in a Zoom call and I kept getting like kicked out every time I turned my camera on. But I was in a Zoom call last night with some friends. We were playing Among Us, and it worked fine. I do not know why it didn't work the first time, but here we are. So I'm kind of hoping that the Wi-Fi don't give out on me. Yikes. That'd be bad. Alright. Also, I really appreciated all of the comments on the last episode and on a couple of episodes prior to the last one that I made. I'm so happy to know that even with my long hiatus due to work and the holidays and everything, just knowing my content and my episodes are making you guys happy still, and you guys are enjoying it, makes me happy because it just tells me that people out there are loving like the content that I'm creating and the episodes that I'm making, and it just makes me feel so happy to know that I'm brightening somebody's day with these episodes and with all this Touken Ranbu content. And I'm hoping later on down the line with all the other games that I'll play on this channel and anything else I post on here, like song covers and auditions for voice acting projects, which I got some coming up, by the way, that I'm going to post. It just makes me happy to know that you guys are enjoying it, and I don't know how I can thank you guys so much for all of the kind words and everything, considering, like, for those that have been here since episode 1, I have addressed this, I've talked about this. This is my first Let's Play. I went into this completely blind and just kind of Googled, okay, you know, how can I do screen recording on an outdated laptop on a budget, because when Touken Ranbu came out, I was still in school. I had rent and I had so much stuff to pay and do that I was like, what can I do on a budget? I had no idea what I was doing when I started this series. I just was putting episodes out thinking it would be fun and it would give my channel a little bit of something different for people to enjoy. And I was literally thinking to myself, man, I'm going to be playing Touken Ranbu and probably nobody's going to watch it because, again, Touken Ranbu is still very much unknown. Like, I'm sorry, like, it is. Like, over here where I live, the anime community is very, like, we're very diverse. We all have different interests and stuff, but I have not, well, darn, we got a Hachiska from that Clash level. But, like, many people here have not heard of Touken Ranbu. And that makes me sad because, like, I want other people to talk Touken Ranbu with. I was lucky to meet somebody in school who loves Touken Ranbu just as much as I do. And she's the one who introduced me, actually, to Touken Ranbu. And to this day, we're still friends. To this day, we still talk and everything. So if she's watching, you know who you are. Miss you so much. But I went into this completely blind. Never doing a Let's Play before. Had no idea if the program that I'm using is even a good program. I'm just using something that I knew worked on my laptop and would be in good quality, would get the job done, and would hang in there long enough for me to upgrade my system in every way to where, like, I could probably have a little bit of a better program to do all of this on. But just knowing that you guys are enjoying it, even though I'm an amateur, I am very much an amateur when it comes to Let's Plays of this caliber. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this long. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so we'll go until we run out of the little plaques, and then we will go in and do some, if we have time, we'll go in and do some regular sortie missions for the crops and stuff. Even though I highly doubt we'll get the background, we're gonna try. Okay. There we go. But yeah, I'm auditioning for my first, well, I can't technically say my first paid gig, because when I got out of school, I got asked by one of my professors who was helping get this teacher training video off the ground, and they were looking for voice actors. I immediately sent in an audition, and I got in it, and I did get paid for it, so that was like my first paid voice acting gig, and I got to record inside a booth and everything. I could talk about it now because it's like it's out and it's been almost a year. It'll be a year this coming June, so half a year. But like it was an experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I then found like another like voice acting casting call, and I was like reading the details, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try out for this, and then I found out that it was paid. So fingers crossed, guys. Even if I don't get casted in it, I'll still be very proud of myself. Like very proud of myself. Hi, Sayo! And I saw Surumaru and Nagitsune leveled up. Ooh, I got a brown horse. Nice. Let me just get that. There we go. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Go back. But I am very, very excited to send in my audition for that. Like, I'm hoping it'll be my big break for a while, but we'll see. But wish me luck, guys. Like, I'm very, very nervous. And I got a lot of auditions coming up this year, actually. Other than this, I was gonna go audition for my local theater company's production of The Wizard of Oz. Since, fun fact about me, I was basically raised off of two movies growing up in the 90s. One was The Wizard of Oz, because my family kind of made sure that my younger sister and I at least saw that movie, even if just once, and we grew up to hate it. I grew up to love it. I went to like a 4D, like you could like smell the poppies and feel the wind of the tornado and stuff like that. It was like a 4D experience of the film, and it was the movie condensed down to like 30 minutes, but it was a 4D experience. I did that. I went to the 75th anniversary screening at one of my local movie theaters where they were showing it in 3D. And then anything related to The Wizard of Oz, like, I was on board with that. Wicked the musical, which is like one of my favorite musicals of all time. I've seen that. I went to, even though I know not that many people liked it, I went and saw Oz the Great and Powerful when it came out in movie theaters. Even the Legends of Oz Dorothy's Return, which I personally enjoyed. I thought it was really super cute. Return to Oz, like anything to do with The Wizard of Oz, I'm like on that. Well, Wizard of Oz, because I knew it was a movie adapted from a book, and a lot of things around me were, like, theater-wise, were based off that movie, and I just really loved Judy Garland's acting in the movie. I was like, oh man, like, I want to do theater. And then the other movie, I'm probably gonna get judged for this. Please understand that the adaptation of this story that I'm going to talk about is the one that came out in the 90s that I grew up with, which means this one was, it was the actual stage production, filmed to be put on VHS and TV. So the other movie that I was kind of raised off of, my sister and I, was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats musical. And this was the one that came out in the 90s, so it was filmed on this big London stage, and it starred Ken Page, yes, the voice actor of Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. He was in it. This was the production that he was in, along with oh gosh, what's her name? I can't think of her name, but if you Google Cats the Musical memory and then like probably put VHS next to it, you'll find a clip from the production of Cats that I'm talking about. That actress that played Grisabella, loved her. She is still one of the best versions of, like, probably one of the best versions of Memory ever. Well, I was raised off that movie as well. So Wizard of Oz and Cats basically combined together inspired me to do theater. Like Wizard of Oz like pushed me to do theater, and then Cats pushed me towards not only my love of theater, but also my love for musical theater and wanting to give it a try. I've auditioned for musical theater a couple of times. I have yet to be casted in one though. So my local theater company that does musicals mostly, they mostly do musicals. They released their upcoming season along with all the audition dates. I saw they were doing Wizard of Oz, and I was like, oh man, because the reason I couldn't do Wizard of Oz was because my grandmother and her Christmas gift from me was tickets to Hadestown, the musical. She wanted to see it. And sadly, due to COVID, we were supposed to go, I'm recording this on January 9th, which is when we were supposed to go see it. And the entire cast got sick with COVID when they got here. So they canceled the entire dates that they were supposed to perform, and they're trying to postpone it. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll postpone the dates that they're able to, so my grandmother can go see Hadestown. But one of the reasons I couldn't audition for Wizard of Oz was because rehearsals started today. Today, so I wouldn't have been able to go with my grandmother to see Hadestown, which I know would hurt her feelings, like would make her sad, because she wants to see Hadestown with me, and I would want to see Hadestown as well because I've never seen it. I hear it's good, but she wanted me to go with her, so I wouldn't have been able to go if I auditioned for Wizard of Oz and got in Wizard of Oz. But I checked out some of the other shows that they got coming up, and I'm going to audition in April for Newsies. Newsies the musical. So we're gonna try to audition for that, and then in September, or it's being performed in September. I need to double check. These dates. But and my sister, when I told my sister this as well, she looked at me and she goes, "You're gonna audition for what?" The only other show that I was interested in auditioning for was called Titanic: The New Musical. They made a musical off of Titanic, not the movie. If it was, that'd be super cool. No, not the movie. There's literally a musical about the disaster of the Titanic. And I went, well, it seems kind of stupid to audition for one show, and if you get in, only perform for one show. Like, you know, let's try to, let's audition for Titanic and see if we get in Titanic. So hopefully, I got Newsies in April and Titanic in sometime in the fall. I need to double check, but I think it's sometime in the fall. But yeah, that's gonna be fun, guys. It's gonna be a blast. Okay, we're gonna change up the team a little bit. Let's replace Nagigitsune with Kasen. Let's do Ichikirimaru as well with Shokudai Kiri. And let's go. So yeah, I got those two auditions coming up. I got the paid audition that I'm gonna record probably tomorrow. And what else audition-wise do I have coming up? Oh, and then this coming August, I audition again for another local theater company in my area, where you have to audition to be put in their files for their productions. Like, they record your audition reels. You have to do like one tragedy and one comedy monologue each, so they can see your range of acting, and then they put you like in a file set where all the directors that are doing productions with that company can go through the files, look at like your picture and your audition tape and your acting resume, and they can call you if they feel like you'd be perfect for a production that they're getting ready to put on and stuff. I auditioned with them back in August, but I have not gotten a call for any of the shows. So they got one more show coming up, and I think it's Cinderella. So we're gonna see if I land Cinderella. If I don't land Cinderella, then I gotta audition. I gotta audition this coming August again for that theater company. So I'll have that as well, and that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a blast, because now I have to find one tragedy and one comedy monologue. I may end up just doing, if anybody's seen Addams Family Values, the Malibu Barbie monologue, I may just do that. You know what I got instead? Malibu Barbie. Malibu Barbie. What a nightmare. Just do that. I think that'd be fun. And I don't know how long we've been recording since I had to fix the audio, but I think I'll give it another like 5 or 6 minutes, and I will do this episode's movie recommendation. So, man, I've been thinking long and hard about what I was going to do for this movie recommendation, for this episode's movie recommendation. I originally had my sights set on one film, which I'm not going to say because I'll do it for a later episode, but then I watched a movie that has actually been on my movie bucket list, and I finally watched it. Like, I watched it for the first time 48 hours ago, like literally 2 days ago. I watched it for the very first time, and I decided, nope, I'm doing this one for this episode's movie recommendation. Hi, Yoggin! Okay. We're probably not gonna get to 2000. Okay, let's take a bit of a break real quick to send off some surveys. Off you go, Nakari. And go forth. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I was accepting my mission rewards, and they have rewards for the event, and one of them happens to be the Triple Masu. Well, it's the last passage permit. I may not be able to record another episode in time for the event before the event's over, so we're just going to go ahead and use it for the very last plaque. So let's go. All right. Also, can I just say I am so proud of the archers that we have set up right now. Like, I don't know if anybody's been noticing while I've been talking, but they have been knocking out the enemies before we even start, to where there's only like 4 enemies left, and I've been so proud of them. Alright, so I think it's high time I do this episode's movie recommendation. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way here. Unlike the last episode's movie recommendation, this movie recommendation is for a film that is rated R, so please take that into consideration. I'm not going to go into any detail or anything, like, I'm just saying right now, it is a rated R movie, but it's mostly rated R for, like, gore, scary elements, pretty much. It's mostly rated R for being a horror film. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out right now. It's a horror film. But I consider it more of a drama than a horror film. So, before I reveal the title, please put down in the comments what's the first film that comes to mind when I say the word vampire. And why did you say Twilight? No, and let's be honest, when a lot of people say the word vampire, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is Twilight. That's the very first thing that comes to everybody's mind is Twilight. And, you know, like, I don't blame people because I'm a 90s kid, as I stated before. I was born in the 90s, so I was around when Twilight became really big. I was in junior high when the books were first being published and were coming out, same with the movie adaptations. So yeah, that was a lot of people's introduction at my school district to vampires and vampire fiction and vampire stories. But because I was raised in a household where I had family members that wanted to make sure my younger sister and I grew up with some of the classic films and stuff like that, whenever I heard the word vampire, the first film that would come to my mind was Bela Lugosi in Dracula, which is an old black and white film. That was like one of the first ones that came to my mind whenever somebody comes to me and says, oh, you know, vampire, what's the first vampire film you can think of? I go, oh, Bela Lugosi as Dracula from like the 1930s, 1940s. That was the very first film that would always come to my mind because Bela Lugosi was such a fantastic Dracula. But for a lot of people, it was Twilight. But there's other vampire movies out there. Hi, Kiyomitsu. And whenever people tell me what's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think vampire, it's Bela Lugosi's Dracula. It's not Edward Cullen. It's Bela Lugosi as Dracula. So I think of the seductive and like gentleman, rich, aristocratic vampire look. That's what I think of all the time whenever I think of vampire films. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I've never been able to find, though, a vampire movie that matches that description until I heard of a little film, which is going to be this episode's movie recommendation, a little film called Interview with the Vampire, starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. So, first time I ever heard this movie's title, I was in high school, and there was this group of girls in my theater department that loved this movie. And they would always ask you if you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you couldn't sit in on their group and talk with them about it. This film was like on everybody's radar when I was in high school. You either saw it, you knew about it, you read the book by the late Anne Rice, who passed away this past year, or you were one of the people who had no idea what anybody was talking about. I at first started as that. I had no idea what anybody was talking about. I was like, Interview with the Vampire, like, what's that? Like, never heard of it. And then I left high school and the film, like, faded into memory until I discovered this YouTube channel, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels, where they basically discuss, like, a lot of horror movies, and they traveled to filming locations. Well, I saw where they did a video about the filming location of Interview with the Vampire for when they're in New Orleans. And that was my reawakening to the movie. I went, oh yeah, that's a movie that exists. And it went on my film bucket list. Well, several weeks ago, I brought the film up to my mom, who's also a fellow horror fanatic as I am, and she was shocked that I've never seen the movie. And she was telling me how, oh no, it's an amazing movie. It's a little long. It's like capping in at like 2 hours minimum. Like, it's long. It's really long. But she was like, you'd really like it. She was like, it's right up your alley in terms of what you look for a vampire movie. Well, Netflix. I have Netflix to thank for finally getting able to see this movie. So yes, the film is on Netflix. It's in the drama, the critically acclaimed, the trending, and the horror section of Netflix. It may change from time to time from the trending, but last time I checked, it was in there. It was in there for like my family's accounts, but yeah, and like I said, it stars like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, a 11-year-old Kristen Dunst, if you don't know who she is, the original Jumanji with Robin Williams. She's the teenage girl that plays the board game with them. She's the sister that moves into the old parish house. And then she's also the English voice of Kiki in Kiki's Delivery Service. But this was like, when people talk about her, they remember this movie, and they say it's one of her most memorable roles. And after seeing it, yeah, like I even have to agree. And the other actor that, shockingly enough, I didn't know was in this movie until I started watching it, Antonio Banderas. That Antonio Banderas from Spy Kids, he's in this, and you do not recognize him. This was back when he was still very much young and wasn't in much like film. And wow, I was shocked when I saw him. I didn't recognize him because he's so young. He is so young in this movie, and I was like, that's Antonio Banderas. So you're probably thinking, what is the plot? You're like, you've hyped up this movie. What's the plot of it? It's kind of hard to explain without spoiling it, so I'm going to do the best I can. So, Interview with the Vampire, which came out in 1994, based off the novel of the same name by Anne Rice, which is part of what's called the Vampire Chronicles, which is a series, follows a young vampire by the name of Louis, who's played by Brad Pitt. The movie opens with modern-day New York, modern-day San Francisco, I believe. I think it's San Francisco. Yeah, it's modern-day San Francisco. And we see Louis talking to a man by the name of, I think, Daniel Molly, who's played by Christian Slater. And Christian Slater. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit tongue-tied right now because I'm trying to think of how to word this without spoiling anything while I do all of this. And pretty much he wants to interview Louis about his life, and Louis decides he wants to tell his story to somebody. So Louis starts telling Molly his story about what he was like before he became a vampire, when he became a vampire thanks to another aristocratic vampire named Lestat, played by Tom Cruise. Lestat's the one who turned Louis. And then we just get this whole story from Louis' point of view about what his life was like before, during, and after he became a vampire. Along the way, we meet a like a spectacular cast of characters, all played by fantastic actors. Claudia, played by Dunst. Antonio Banderas plays this vampire in Paris named Armand, who's like the leader of this underground covenant of vampires. It's all interesting. But what made this film stand out to me, which is why I'm doing it for this episode's movie recommendation, is because it's not the typical vampire folklore. Because one thing that I've noticed is very prominent, and like you see it quite a lot with vampire movies, is the usual, oh, a stake through the heart, or garlic, and holy water, that they can't go out in the sunlight, and crucifixes, and stuff like that. Well, it turns out that this movie, because it's based off a book, not only did it change a lot of the folklore that we were already very familiar with thanks to Bram Stoker's Dracula, it did away with a lot of it. Like, in Interview with the Vampire, they still can't go out in the sunlight, they sleep in coffins, but the stake through the heart, the crucifixes, the garlic, all of that is fake, and Louis labels it as silly human superstition, which I found very interesting, because normally, unlike the Twilight movies and books, it's something that you never thought you would see with vampires. We always had this idea that, oh, like, this is how it's always going to be because Bram Stoker's Dracula talks about it, and it's like, no, people can change it. Because, I mean, look at what Twilight did. They can literally go out in the sunlight, but there is a catch, they sparkle, which is weird. And I'm trying to think of what else made this really stand out, I guess, in terms of like vampire folklore. I'm gonna have to probably go back and rewatch it and then like put it in the descriptions or in the comment section, like in a pinned comment of like what else like made this stand out. But it was so interesting to see. It was very different. So whenever people ask me now, like, oh, what do you consider like some of the best vampire stuff in media? Well, excuse you, Hachisuka. You're gonna take care of the horses and you're going to like it. Like, if somebody were to ask me now, I'd say, oh, well, Castlevania, Netflix's Castlevania is probably the best, like, vampire-themed TV show that I've seen, but Interview with the Vampire has to be one of the best vampire films that I've ever seen. Since this is how I view vampires, these easily can blend into society supernatural creatures. Not that, like, a lot of other media hasn't done that before, it's just this one did a little bit better. So I'm so sorry that this movie recommendation was really, really long, but there was a lot that I wanted to talk about with this movie. But yeah, Interview with the Vampire, it's on Netflix, and I hear that they're remaking it, actually. So if you're not interested in watching the film, you want to watch something, like, a little bit more, recent, they are remaking it in the form of a TV show by AMC. So they are remaking it. I don't know per se how close to the book they're going to go because I've never read the book. I think I just committed the ultimate crime. I've never read the book. I think I should though, considering Interview with the Vampire, and I think it's prequel or sequel, somebody correct me on that, called Queen of the Damned, are the only ones that got made into movies. So I'm very interested to see where the whole series went, because apparently there's a lot more books in the series. So I'm very interested to see where the story went. I just need to know what order to read the books in, because apparently they're all out of order. But yeah, Interview with the Vampire. This episode's movie recommendation. I'm so sorry that took so long. I had this planned on what I was going to say, and then I got tongue-tied because I was like, oh, man, you can't say that because it's a spoiler. So we're going to go through a regular sortie for a little bit, so we can get pretty far in this map, because we really need to unlock Team 4. We definitely need to try to unlock that. But Interview with the Vampire, such a good movie, 10 out of 10, would recommend, obviously. But now, obviously, I'm a cosplayer. I hope it says that somewhere on my profile. I do cosplay. And after I watched Interview with the Vampire, I actually texted a friend of mine. I was like, yo, listen. 2022, cosplay-wise, is going to be the year of vampires, because I want to cosplay Alucard from Castlevania and Lestat from Interview with the Vampire. And she was like, do it! So I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to do Alucard and Lestat this year. But I'm really looking forward to trying to cosplay both of those characters, because it's gonna be pretty hard. I've never done a cosplay yet where I had to do like the fake teeth or anything like that. So hopefully I can figure it out. But I'm very excited to see how that goes. Hopefully I look good. And once I'm able to do a face cam, I may try to do Let's Plays in cosplay. That'd be fun. I know for a fact if I'm ever able to do Let's Plays of the Dark Pictures anthology, I'll wear my curator cosplay, since those are the games that he's from. Hi, Aizen! And I know Surumaru at one point, because I saw it when I was doing the fusion stuff. I saw where he was kind of fatigued, so that's why I took a long time doing the fusion and trying to do my movie recommendation. So hopefully he's okay. If I notice he starts to get fatigued again, we will pull back. We seem to be doing good so far. Normally around here we start kind of getting some casualties, but I feel like we're gonna be okay. Oh, Shokudai Kiri got to level 30. Nice. Okay, resource spot. Oh, we got another Winter Panoni. Nice. So we go over here. Okay, so this is either the boss or this is the boss. One of them is the boss. I hope you guys continue to enjoy the movie recommendation thing, though. Please let me know if you guys get tired of me doing the movie recommendations, because I will stop. I'll stop doing them like each per episode. It's something about me that I like to share with others. Like, I like to give people movie recommendations, and I was like, what can I do for my Touken Ranbu Let's Plays that are not the same thing over and over and over again? So I thought the movie recommendation thing would be something fun that I can do, where I just recommend movies that I feel like some of you may want to watch or enjoy. It all depends. And I'm gonna try to recommend, because so far I've recommended like 2 movies that came out like over 10 years ago. And don't worry, I will recommend like recent stuff as well. I just wanted to recommend like stuff that I either recently watched or that I know are like on people's like film bucket lists. Okay, I guess we're going this way. Hopefully that's the boss. I'm gonna be so mad if it made me go this way and fight a bunch of enemies, and it's like, psych, this isn't where the villain is. And it's like, really? I wouldn't have noticed. I will say I did try to record sooner, but I know the game went under maintenance. And then I was in the middle of like a bunch of tornado warnings. Like, I got no sleep at all last night. Like when I was playing a game last night with some friends, and we were all in a Zoom call together, and I was like, what the heck? 'Cause I kept hearing what sounded like a siren going off, like in my relative's house, because I was at my relative's, like in my relative's house, which was my grandmother's house, because of the tickets to Hades Town. Again, we were supposed to see Hades Town today. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And it turns out all of like any of our like mobile devices, so like our cell phones and stuff, were going off with like tornado warnings and flash flood warnings. And it was like, what the heck is going on? So I kept telling myself, like after it went off like twice, I said, okay, if it goes off one more time, then I'm gonna go wake up the whole house, and we're all gonna just like stick together, because that means it's serious. Like if I get a third one and nothing has changed, but it like the time has extended, and I could hear outside like if the wind was picking up or not. So if it went off a third time, even if the wind did not pick up, I was gonna go wake up the whole house and be like, hey, this is serious. Oh, we lost those archers. I think I have more. It's okay. I think I have another batch of archers somewhere that Gokotai can have. Ooh, and I leveled up. Nice. And we found a new Touken Danchi. But yeah, I was like, okay, if it goes off a third time, I'm going and waking up the whole house. It's another Gokotai. Thankfully, it did not go off a third time. It did not. Ooh, new battlefield has been unlocked. Thank you. It did not go off a third time. It only went off those 2 times, and then it like laid quiet. But then at 2:30 in the morning, my phone woke me up to a flash flood warning. So needless to say, it was not a fun time for me. Okay, we're gonna forge some troops. Well, we can only do 1 anyways, so create. Alright, and it's a silver. Nice. I'm really interested to see like who these are, but those are probably gonna have to be saved for next episode. Alright. Do we want to do one last round of fusions before we go? Where's Kasen? There he is. Apparently we have some of Kasen here. Begin fusion. Okay. And this is where I am going to call it for this episode of Let's Play Touken Ranbu. I'm so sorry it was mostly me trying to get my words together to talk about Interview with the Vampire for this episode's movie recommendation. Again, I am so sorry. I had a lot to say about this movie, but I was trying to keep it to where it wasn't going to be spoiled. And I wanted to kind of build it up to be like, listen, we're going to talk about a vampire movie. it's a very gory vampire movie, but it's a good vampire movie. And then of course I had to fix the audio, all that jazz. So I hope you guys are continuing to enjoy this Let's Play series of Touken Ranbu. And since I'm getting back into the groove of things, hopefully episodes will start happening more frequently now again. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Because I'm kind of getting my life back in order and trying to get it back on a schedule to where I can do Touken Ranbu again. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to get the sword from the Clash event, but that's okay. We still have whatever swords are waiting for us in the forge. Hopefully they're brand new swords. It's been a long time since we got someone new, let's be honest. But I am really looking forward to it. So, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye!